O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Ra-Hoor-Khuit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking into the modern esoteric philosophy of Thelema today. Our mission really is to analyze these occult texts and cosmology, to sort of unpack its central governing deity, which is Ra-Hoor-Khuit.
Yeah, and it is just a completely fascinating cosmology to dig into.
It really is. Okay, let's unpack this. Picture Cairo, right? It is 1904. Aleister Crowley's wife, Rose, she just falls into this spontaneous trance.
Just completely out of nowhere.
Right. And she leads him to a specific artifact in the Bulaq Museum. It is this obscure wooden funerary tablet belonging to an ancient Egyptian priest. And get this, the museum exhibit number is exactly 666.
Which, I mean, is a number Crowley heavily identified with anyway. You really couldn't script a more theatrical origin story for a new religious epoch if you tried.
Well, wait, how does an ancient piece of museum would launch an entirely new spiritual era? Because this isn't just some historical reenactment of Egyptian mythology, right?
No, far from it. It is actually a massive metaphysical shift based on this concept of an eon.
Like an era.
Right, a distinct overarching era of human spiritual evolution. So to understand Ra-Hoor-Khuit, who is the central deity governing our current epoch, you kind of have to look at the Phalamic Trinity.
Okay, lay it on me.
First, you have Nuit. She represents infinite space and potential, like the cosmic feminine, you know.
Got it.
Then there is Hadit, which is the masculine, microscopic, omnipresent point of consciousness. And when those two forces magnetically unite, their offspring is Ra-Hoor-Khuit.
The crowned and conquering child.
Exactly. He is the ruler of the current eon, the eon of Horus.
Okay, so if Nuit is like the infinite canvas of the universe, and Hadit is the painter's specific, hyper-focused point of view. Wait, let me rephrase. So Ra-Hoor-Khuit is the dynamic, explosive act of actually putting paint to the masterpiece.
I love that analogy. What is fascinating here is because he represents that act of painting, he is the externalized active energy of magic, but he actually has a dual nature.
Wait, dual nature? I thought he was just pure action.
Well, he is the active, extroverted force, but he has a passive twin named Ra-Hoor-Khuit. This twin represents silent inner wisdom.
Oh, right, the one the Greeks got confused by.
Yeah, exactly. The Greeks misunderstood ancient Egyptian statues of this twin, Harpocrates, because he had his finger to his lips. They just assumed he was the god of silence.
But in Egyptian iconography, that gesture just meant childhood, didn't it?
You hit the nail on the head.
Here is where it gets really interesting, though. That dual nature makes the text a bit confusing. Because the sources explicitly call Ra-Hoor-Khuit a god of war and vengeance.
Which sounds intense.
Extremely intense. If one half of him is silent wisdom, how does that square with war? I mean, isn't a title like that just a mandate for physical violence?
Well, if you read it literally, sure, but esoterically, this is a psychological, iconoclastic war. You have to look at the previous era, the Eon of Osiris.
Right, the older epoch.
Yeah. That epoch was built on self-sacrifice, guilt, and just this pervasive sense of human sin. The new Eon of Horus completely rejects that. It demands the absolute liberty of the individual will.
So restriction is the real enemy.
Exactly. In this system, the ultimate sin is restriction. The vengeance they talk about is directed entirely at obsolete dogmas and societal structures that basically try to keep you small.
Oh, wow. So the spiritual war is completely internal.
100%. The outer action has to be guided by that inner silence we talked about.
That makes sense of this specific ritual in our sources about slaying a beetle. I was wondering about that. The adept isn't cursing a literal human enemy, right? They are symbolically crushing their own ego.
Right, because annihilating your prior societal conditioning clears the psychological static. When you crush that ego-driven beetle, you finally quiet the noise enough to hear your own true inner voice.
So it is really about self-mastery,
Yeah.
not submitting to some external power.
Precisely.
Which totally explains why this system is so adaptable when it comes to practical magic. Like the sources say Ra-Hoor-Khuit's domain commands the use of diverse global practices.
Oh, yeah, literally anything that works.
Right, from African Obeah and Haitian Wanga to Eastern mantras. But how are these entirely different traditions compatible with a specific Egyptian-themed deity?
Because the Eon of Horus prioritizes the effective manifestation of will over rigid tradition. Ra-Hoor-Khuit acts as an engine for these practices because his energy is purely about results.
And breaking down boundaries.
Right. It is a syncretic approach where whatever works to exert your will is considered valid.
And you see this physicalized even in his feast day, right? April 10th.
Oh, the feast day traditions are great.
Yeah, practitioners eat fiery red foods.
Yeah.
Like sun-dried tomato cornbread and chili honey butter, just to literally ingest and embody that robust, solar, rule-breaking energy.
Yeah, it is a very visceral practice.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It sounds like he really democratizes divinity. In Thelema, the fundamental axiom is that every man and every woman is a star.
Right, you aren't meant to worship this deity from afar.
You are supposed to embody him, to actively pursue your own true will, totally free from inherited restrictions.
Which completely shifts the burden of spirituality. You are no longer answering to some distant creator. You are the creator of your own localized universe.
Which is incredibly empowering, but it leaves you, listening right now, with a completely different kind of challenge.
A big one.
Yeah. Think about it. If the ultimate spiritual battle isn't against an external demon, but against restriction itself, what beetle of your own ego do you need to slay today to uncover your true will?